countries on August 7. Now, this as a major trade storm is brewing with US President Donald Trump rolling out sweeping tariffs on dozens of countries. Economists say American companies and consumers are the one, in fact, paying the price. Inflation is ticking up and imported goods are getting more expensive. India, meanwhile, stands its ground, refusing to bow down to pressure over Russian oil and trade demands. Now, this comes as the US President has hit out at New Delhi. Listening to Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal.
सरकार हालिया घटनाक्रम से होने वाले प्रभावों का परीक्षण कर रही है। वाणिज्य एवं उद्योग मंत्रालय निर्यातकों और उद्योग सहित सभी हितधारकों से संवाद कर इस विषय पर उनके आकलन की जानकारी ले रहा है। सरकार हमारे किसानों, श्रमिकों, एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, उद्यमी, निर्यातकों, सूक्ष्म, लघु और मध्यम उद्योगों और उद्योग जगत के सभी हितधारकों के कल्याण की रक्षा और संवर्धन को सर्वोच्च महत्व देती है। हम अपने राष्ट्रीय हितों को सुरक्षित करने और आगे बढ़ाने के लिए सभी आवश्यक कदम उठाएंगे।
Over in Washington, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on Thursday that India's purchases of Russian oil are helping to sustain Moscow's war efforts in Ukraine. And it is most certainly a point of irritation in New Delhi's relationship with Washington. Although not the only point of irritation, he said. In an interview with Fox Radio, Rubio claimed that the US president is frustrated with the fact that India continues to buy oil from Russia despite having so many other oil vendors available and helping to fund Russia's war effort against Ukraine. Here's what he said.
So as you know, the trade deals are coming down. That's not really your purview. You have enough on your plate. But one thing the president said last night on Truth Social, he goes, Russia continues to be the top oil supplier to India. And during their first 6 months, they're making up 35% of the overall supplies. He, quote, India will therefore be paying a tariff of 25% plus a penalty for the above starting on August 1st. He's upset, maybe you're upset, that India continues to get, instead of a small portion, a great portion of their discounted oil from Russia, which is fueling their war machine. How disappointed are you in a so-called ally?
Look, global trade, India is an ally. It's a strategic partner. Like anything in foreign policy, you're not going to align 100% of the time on everything. India has huge energy needs, and that includes the ability to buy oil and coal and gas and things that it needs to power its economy, like every country does. And it buys it from Russia because Russian oil is sanctioned and cheap, and meaning they have to, in many cases, are selling it under the global price because of their sanctions.
Yep.
And that, unfortunately, that is helping to sustain the Russian war effort. So it is most certainly a point of irritation in our relationship with India. Not the only point of irritation. We also have many other points of cooperation with them. But I think what you're seeing the president express is the very clear frustration that with so many other oil vendors available, India continues to buy so much from Russia, which in essence is helping to fund the war effort,
right,
and allowing this war to continue in Ukraine.
Donald Trump has signed an executive order on Thursday to increase tariffs on Canadian goods imported to the United States from 25% to 35%. The new import tax rate goes into effect Friday, according to a White House fact sheet. The White House, meanwhile, claimed that Trump had increased tariffs on Canada because it had failed to act on the public health crisis caused by fentanyl and illicit drugs flowing across the northern border into the United States. My colleague Maha unpacks.
For the moment, it remains committed to this intention that Mark Carney himself announced yesterday of recognizing Palestine as a state in UNGA in September. Now, as far as the tariffs issue is concerned, we can see that Donald Trump is now conflating several issues with this. It started off with fentanyl, the issue of fentanyl, and the issue of illegal immigrants crossing over from the northern border of the United States, that is from Canada. It has now gone down to unfairly meting out structures of tariffs to The farmers, he says, they are being tariffed almost 200%, and that farmers and dairy products coming in from farm products and dairy products coming in from Canada will therefore be tariffed by the United States as well. And now he is now associating this 35% tariff on non-CUSMA compliant goods coming in from Canada to the stand on Palestine that Canada has taken. So several issues being conflated there, Parmeshwar, as you can clearly see. Although Donald Trump has said that he's upset with Canada's decision on Palestine, but he's also pointed out that it's not likely to be a deal breaker between the two countries. They have been negotiating on a trade deal for a long time, but Mark Carney had pointed out that it is possible that that trade deal might not be complete before the 1st of August. That was the deadline given by the White House. And therefore, the 35% tariff on non-CUSMA compliant goods will come into effect midnight today.
And meanwhile, Donald Trump's global tariffs face significant skepticism in a federal appeals court on Thursday as judges investigated whether the president had, in the first place, overstretched his emergency powers just hours before the latest sweeping round of duties is set to kick in, which has, of course, now been deferred till the 7th of August. Now, the full 11-strong bench of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit in Washington, D.C. is considering whether Trump indeed exceeded his authority in imposing reciprocal tariffs on a large number of U.S. trading partners or not. Judges, meanwhile, repeatedly asked if Trump was justifying relying on emergency powers to effectively tear up U.S. tariff schedule without even consulting the Congress. My colleague Vishal gets you the fine print.
There are several challenges right now as we speak, but the first one is the Federal Appeals Court that is hearing the case. So 5 small businesses and 12 Democratic-led states have moved the court. So it started with a smaller court in a lower court. The argument was heard in a lower court, but that did not materialize. It was sent to a higher court, which is hearing the case now. The case pertains to this use of this 1977 IEEPA law. So this is the law that has been used by the Trump administration to put these tariffs into effect, and petitioners have argued that that is not correct, that should be outlawed, because the lower court had agreed with the petitioners, as I mentioned earlier, that the functioning of the tariffs is not right, and the Federal Appeals Court is reviewing the case as we speak. And in the same vein, the federal judges in the same case, they have said that the aforementioned IEEPA law doesn't mention tariffs. So that is what they're arguing, that the word tariff has not been mentioned even once in that whole law that has been used to implement these tariffs. So the tariffs have been allowed to stay while the case is being appealed. So as I mentioned earlier, the lower court had stayed the tariffs, but that decision in turn was stayed by this higher court. And many of Trump's trade deals and tariffs hikes could be at risk because of this judgment, although the judgment is not supposed to come within the next week or so. But nonetheless, when it comes, there could be trouble for Trump.
According to a recent Bloomberg report, New Delhi has told Washington officials that it is not interested in purchasing the F-35 stealth fighter. Now, this comes despite growing pressure from Washington to expand its defense imports. The news outlet quoted officials who said that the Modi government is unlikely to proceed with any major new defense acquisitions from the U.S. in the near term, despite Washington's ongoing efforts to secure additional high-value contracts. The topic reportedly came up during PM Modi's visit to the White House in February, when President Donald Trump personally offered the F-35 as part of a broader strategic and defense partnership. Instead, Indian officials indicated that New Delhi remains committed to a defense procurement model that emphasizes technology sharing, local manufacturing, and indigenous capability development. We shift our focus to Canada, which has appointed diplomat Jeff David as the Consul General in Mumbai. This is according to an announcement made by the Canadian Foreign Minister Anita Anand. This is the first diplomatic appointment by Canada here since the expulsion of over 40 Canadian diplomats by India after the row over Canadian allegations under former PM Justin Trudeau that the Indian government in fact orchestrated the killing of Khalistani terrorists on Canadian soil. US Middle East envoy is set to travel to Gaza on Friday as pressure grows on the White House to address suffering in the war-torn enclave. Now, Steve Witkoff plans to visit an aid distribution site run by a US-backed organization. Palestinians seeking food have reportedly been killed by Israeli forces at the group's locations. US President Donald Trump, meanwhile, earlier this week, in fact, he acknowledged real starvation, in his words, in the Gaza enclave, breaking with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who Trump believes is prolonging the conflict to hold on to political power. Two officials have said this. But Trump's frustration likely won't result in any major policy shift, they added. Meanwhile, he's now putting the onus on Hamas and not Israel to end this war. Staying with the region, the Israeli offensive in Gaza continued on Thursday with strikes hitting the territory. Clouds of smokes were seen rising behind buildings near Gaza City while the humanitarian crisis continues in the war-torn strip. At least 91 Palestinians were killed and more than 600 wounded while attempting to get aid only in the past 24 hours. Now, this is according to the Gaza Health Ministry. The war started when Hamas attacked southern Israel on the 7th of October 2023, killing around 1,200 people and abducting 251 others. They still, by the way, hold 50 hostages, including around 20 believed to be still alive. The United Kingdom and 13 allied nations have publicly accused Iran's intelligence services of orchestrating a wave of assassination attempts, abductions, and even intimidation campaigns against individuals residing in Europe and North America. Meanwhile, displaced residents in Thai border province of Surin expressed their urgent desire to go back to their homes after the ceasefire agreement between Thailand and Cambodia took effect at midnight on Monday earlier this week. Now, since the armed clashes between Cambodian and Thai troops over disputed border areas broke out on the 24th of July, more than 30 people have been killed from both the sides and more than 100,000 others have in fact been evacuated to safer areas. Now, these figures are according to the official estimates provided by both the countries. Meanwhile, in a temporary shelter in Mugang, Surin district, Surin province, MS Ting, a university lecturer, said that her life changed drastically on the 24th of July. Listen in to her.
I think no one would like to get this or face this situation that affect daily life. We would like peace and would like to spend a normal life. We're tired. I think everyone would like to stay with the family at home, you know, no place like home. I would like to stay with my husband, my son together to spend the daily life, that the normal life, as soon as possible. I hope everything will be better.
A 30-year-old British Sikh man has been stabbed to death in East London in an attack involving people known to each other, the UK police believe. Gurmukh Singh, also known as Gary, died last week in Ilford in East London and was formally named by the Metropolitan Police on Thursday. The force said its officers had arrested 27-year-old Amardeep Singh on suspicion of the murder that took place on the 23rd of July. It's been over a week now since the murder took place. He's since been given charge with one count of murder and remains in custody until his next court appearance at London's Old Bailey for trial on the 5th of January next year. Meanwhile, detectives also arrested a 29-year-old man and 3 women aged 29, 30 and 54 respectively in connection with the fatal stabbing. They have all since been released on bail until October, when the police investigation continues. Shifting focus to Southeast Asia, where a Pakistani anti-terrorism court on Thursday sentenced more than 100 members of jailed former PM Imran Khan's party to prison terms on charges related to rioting that targeted military sites back in 2023. Now, 58 of these defendants, who included parliamentarians and senior officials as well, were sentenced to 10 years in prison, and the rest were given sentences ranging from 1 to 3 years. Myanmar's military on Thursday nominally transferred power to a civilian-led interim government ahead of a planned election, with the junta chief remaining in charge of the war-torn country in his other role as acting president. Shifting focus back to Washington, where President Donald Trump continues to put his personal stamp on the White House with a new $200 million ballroom. Work will begin on the site in September and will be paid for by Trump and some unidentified donors. This is what White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt has said. Over in Latin America, the party of El Salvador President Nayib Bukele approved constitutional changes in the country's legislative assembly on Thursday that will allow indefinite presidential re-election and extend presidential terms to 6 years now. Meanwhile, lawmaker Ana Figueroa from New Ideas Party had proposed the changes to 5 articles of the Constitution. Now, the proposal also includes eliminating the second round of election, where the 2 top vote getters from the first round actually have been facing off till now. The New Ideas and its allies in the Legislative Assembly quickly approved the proposal with the super majority they hold. The vote passed with 57 in favor and 3 opposed. Over in the Far East, heavy rains and flooding hit northern China, killing at least 70 people so far and leaving dozens missing, and forcing hundreds, in fact, of thousands to evacuate. This is according to local authorities and state-run media outlets. 8 people were killed following the adverse weather, with 18 more missing in the Hebei province. It's next to Beijing for perspective. Meanwhile, rescue operations remain underway there. And strong rainstorms, in fact, also lashed the U.S. East Coast on Thursday, delaying flights throughout the region and also prompting emergency rescues of motorists trapped in deep water on busy highways from the Philadelphia area to all the way, in fact, to New York City. Meanwhile, in New York, flash flooding briefly closed sections of major roadways and also flooded train stations across the metropolitan region, as you see on your screen right there. Meanwhile, commuters captured videos of water pouring over a train on a platform in Manhattan's Grand Central Terminal and water pooling on the floor of a city bus as it pushed through a flooded Brooklyn street. But it's time we slip into a very short break. Much more on the other side.
You can count on Staysure, the UK's favourite travel insurance provider. We specialise in cover for over 50s with pre-existing medical conditions. And there's no age limit. Whether you're planning an epic, once-in-a-lifetime adventure or revisiting your favourite holiday spot one more time, we offer cover for single or multiple trips throughout the year. Staysure Travel Insurance, the UK's favourite. Get your quote online or give us a call today.
When facts are fragmented, we put the pieces together. Where power collides with truth, we are there.
Behind me is that massive security arrangements that are in place.
Behind fractured boundaries, we clear the fog of war. Fault Lines with Gauri Dwivedi, only on NDTV World.
Thinking about something like this, like a Supercross, why did you think that I should invest here? Because we know that you love for sports.
No, I just think you should put, what is that? Your money where your mouth is? Huh? Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's, I mean, they call it a niche sport and stuff like that. I just don't think that's what it is, because they're considering the population of our country and the amount of bikes are sold, and it is the largest selling country for bikes and scooters and stuff like that. So I just thought that Instead of people racing on the roads, they should have tracks to race on. And I don't think this is a niche sport. I just think that there's no infrastructure, there's no league. So now we have a league and now we have the infrastructure. So all the guys riding on the streets, racing on the streets, have a chance to come and race in these leagues.
Okay, my last question. Your film Battle of Elkan is coming, and we have seen how you have trained for it. It looks amazing, and you look fantastic in it.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
And tell me a little more about it. When it's releasing? We're really excited about it.
Time. We start shooting now, in another 10 days, and then it'll release. This will be a quick release.
I hope it's
it's an intense one. It's
it looks intense.
It's a difficult one. As humanly, it's difficult to do a film like that because high altitudes, hand-to-hand action, raw, brutal action in the Thanda Pani of Leh Ladakh.
You are used to Thanda Pani.
Huh? Yeah, but not so Thanda. Thanda Pani, peene ke liye. Yeah, you'll be in the water for about 8 days. Yeah, in that ekdam taza snow melting pani that's coming in the river and action in that.
So that was challenging.
No, that will be challenging. Yeah. I'm dreading it, but I
Welcome back. You're watching The World Report on NDTV, and over to the world of business and technology, where shares of tech giants Meta and Microsoft have been soaring, with the two companies adding a combined $400 billion to their market values only this week. Now, the two companies together are worth more than JP Morgan Chase. For prospective viewers, it's America's largest bank, or even Walmart, the country's largest seller, more than 7 times over. For Microsoft, its value briefly crossed the $4 trillion mark, making it only the second company ever to reach that milestone after, of course, NVIDIA. The company's market value retreated slightly to $3.97 trillion at the close of trading for the day. Apple CEO Tim Cook has signaled that iPhone maker was ready to spend more to catch up to rivals in artificial intelligence by building more data centers or buying a larger player in this segment. Now, the company has struggled to keep pace with rivals such as Microsoft and Alphabet's Google, both of which have in fact attracted hundreds of millions of users to their AI-powered chatbots and even assistants for that matter. That growth has come at a steep cost, however, with Google planning to spend a whopping $85 billion over the next year and Microsoft on track to spend more than $100 billion, mostly on data centers. Over in Ireland, MMA fighter Conor McGregor has lost his appeal against a civil jury's finding that he raped a woman in a hotel room in 2018, with Ireland's courts of appeal rejecting his appeal in entirety. The plaintiff, Nikita Hand, alleges that McGregor sexually assaulted her on the 9th of December in 2018. A jury in Ireland's High Court, in fact, last November found it in favour of Hand and ordered McGregor to pay her nearly €250,000 in damages. President Donald Trump on Thursday re-established the presidential fitness test for American school children. Now, it's a program which was created back in 1966, in fact, to help interest young people in following healthy and active lifestyles. Now, children had to run and perform sit-ups, pull-ups or push-ups and a sit and reach test. But the program changed in 2012 during the Obama administration to focus more on individual health than athletic feats. In a late afternoon ceremony, Trump signed an order re-establishing the President's Council on Sports, Fitness and Nutrition, as well as the fitness test to be administered by his health secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Listen in to what Trump had to say on this matter.
The order that I'll sign today in a few moments directs the Council to develop strategies to improve America's physical fitness and renew the American spirit, excellence, competitiveness, and sportsmanship. To that end, I'm pleased to announce that we're officially restoring the Presidential Fitness Test and the Presidential Fitness Award, and it's going to be a very big thing.
Grammy winner rapper 2 Chainz is known for painting pictures through his music for his fans, but this time, viewers, he's taking a more visual approach. He's teamed up with his cousin Hollywood veteran Omar Epps to write their short film Red Clay. Now, 2 Chainz born Tawheed Epps discovered he was cousins with Omar during the pandemic. After striking up a relationship, Chainz discussed the potential of working together on his passion project. Listen in.
Vulnerability would probably be the common denominator across the board when dealing with red clay for me. It's something that I'm still dealing with and very embarrassed to even talk about. It's been probably more or less a family secret of mine. I've never mentioned it in interviews and even in my music, and a lot of my music is lifestyle based.
And Friday just got freakier. That's right, the cast of Freakier Friday is embracing both nostalgia and evolution in the sequel to their 2003 body swap comedy hit Freaky Friday. James Lee Curtis compared the acting experience to jazz, while Lindsay Lohan, now also an executive producer, mind you, relished playing a teen in time. Jamie got to play the teen in the original and it looked so fun, Lohan said. Now, the film was shot around Los Angeles, a decision Curtis described as both a love letter and a loss after the Palisades fire destroyed the original movie's home set in January this year.
Oh, they're lifelines. It's like they've...
European singer Justin Timberlake has been diagnosed with Lyme disease. The former NS by NC star announced on Instagram Thursday. Timberlake shared the news in a post commemorating his Forget Tomorrow tour, which wrapped up in Turkey on Wednesday, adding that the disease can be relentlessly debilitating both mentally and physically. The sexy back singer, who described himself as a private person, wrote he considered ending his tour when diagnosed, but also wrote that he decided that the joy of performing brings me far outweighed the fleeting stress my body was feeling. I'm so glad I kept going, said Timberlake in that rather emotional post. And well, that's all we have for you this Friday. Take care and have a wonderful weekend.
Some say sport is a matter of life and death. The truth is, it is far more serious than that. Sport is about ecstasy and agony, about pain and suffering, about joy and much more. Some say there's no one better to tell these stories. So here I am. Join me, Boria Majumdar, on India's #1 news network.
You know, thinking about something like this, like a supercross, why did you think that I should invest here? Because we know that you love for sports.
No,
But why
I just think you should put, what is that? Your money where your mouth is? Huh? Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's, I mean, they call it a niche sport and stuff like that. I just don't think that's what it is, because they're considering the population of our country and the amount of bikes are sold, and it is the largest selling country for bikes and scooters and stuff like that. So I just thought that instead of people racing on the roads, they should have tracks to race on. And I don't think this is a niche sport. I just think that there's no infrastructure, there's no league. So now we have a league and now we have the infrastructure. So all the guys riding on the streets, racing on the streets, have a chance to come and race in these leagues.
Okay, my last question. Your film Battle of Elkan is coming, and we have seen how you have trained for it. It looks amazing, and you look fantastic in it.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
And tell me a little more about it. When it's releasing? We're really excited about it.
Time. We start shooting now, in another 10 days, and then it'll release. This will be a quick release.
I hope it's
and it's an intense one. It's
looks intense.
It's a difficult one, as humanly it's difficult to do a film like that, because high altitudes, hand-to-hand action, raw, brutal action in the Thanda Pani of Leh Ladakh.
You are used to Thanda Pani.
Huh? Yeah. but not so ठंडा. ठंडा पानी पीने के लिए. ये यहाँ पे you'll be in the water for about 8 days. Yeah, in that एकदम ताज़ा snow melting पानी that's coming in the river and action in that.
So that was challenging.
No, that will be challenging.
Yeah.
I'm dreading it, but I will do it.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
Welcome.
Range Rover on the bike on which your son was riding. Investigation எப்படி போயிட்டு இருக்கு?
அது ஃபஸ்ட்டு ஆக்சிடெண்ட் அவங்க வந்து ஸ்டார்டிங்லேயே ஆக்சிடெண்ட் தான் எனக்கு தெரியும். ஐ மீன் மண்டே ஜூலை 20th அப்போது குழந்தை ஆக்சிடெண்ட் போது போய் பார்த்தேன், பையன் வந்து ஆனால் ஸ்பாட்லேயே இறந்துட்டான். ஆக்சிடெண்ட் தான் சொல்லிட்டு சொன்னாங்க. பட் அப்போவே நைட்டே வந்து அந்த குழந்தை ஒருத்தர் வெங்கடேஷன் அப்படின்ற பையன் வந்து இல்லை, கார் வந்து 2 தடவை ஏற்றுனாங்க, இது மர்டர் தான் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு அந்த பையன் சொன்னான். ஸ்டேஷன் போனப்போ என்ன சொல்கிறாங்க, ஆக்சிடெண்ட்னா நாங்கள் உடனே எஃப்ஐஆர் ஃபைல் பண்ணுறோம், அதர்வைஸ் இல்லைன்னா எங்களால் பண்ண முடியாது அப்படின்னு ரொம்ப டிலே பண்ணாங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து என் பையனோட பசங்க, என் பையனோட ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸு, அப்புறம் என் கூட வேலை செய்கிறவங்க, எங்கள் வீட்டுக்கார கூட வேலை செய்கிறவங்க, எங்கள் ஆஃபீஸில் ஒர்க் பண்ணுறவங்க, இவங்க எல்லாம் சப்போர்ட் பண்ணி, ஃபேமிலி மெம்பர்ஸ் எல்லாம் சப்போர்ட் பண்ணவே அங்கேயே நாங்கள் மறியலில் ஈடுபட்டோம். அதுக்கப்புறம் நாங்கள் என்ன பண்ணோம், மறுபடியும் ஸ்டேஷனில் போய்ட்டு உட்காந்தோம். அதுக்கப்புறமா தான் இது வந்து மர்டர் கேஸாக இது பண்ண பிறகு தான், எஃப்ஐஆர் ஃபைல் பண்ண பிறகு தான் நாங்கள் வந்து குழந்தையோட இதையே வாங்கினோம். அப்புறம் இன்னொன்று என்னென்னா, இப்படி பண்ணிட்ட பிறகுமே வந்து அப்போவும் வந்து அந்த பர்சனை வந்து அவங்க அரெஸ்ட் பண்ணல. சந்துரு அப்படின்னவங்க கே நகர் தனசேகர் அவங்களோட பேர் டிஎம்கேல வந்து பெரிய ஆளாக இருக்காங்க. அதுக்கப்புறமா அவனை அரெஸ்ட் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. இதில் இன்னொரு சம்மந்தப்பட்ட பையன் வந்து பிரணவ் அப்படின்ற பையன், அவனுக்கும் அந்த வெங்கடேஷுக்கு தான் ப்ராப்ளமே, பிரச்சனையால் தான் என் குழந்தை கூட போயிருக்கானுங்க. பட் அந்த பையனுமே இன்னும் எதுவும் பண்ணலை.
The mother says initially the police insisted that they would only file if it's a case of accident. Only after the family, friends and relatives protested, then they registered it as a case of murder. And then after a delay, they arrested the son, the grandson of the DMK functionary Chandru. She still says one more person has not been arrested. Yes. Pranav, he's somebody who was in the car, is it?
எனக்கு அது ஷுவராக தெரியல. பட் அவன் தான் பிரச்சனைக்கு காரணம்.
The problem you say was between Pranav and Venkatesh. What is your demand to the police, to the Tamil Nadu government, ma'am?
எனக்கு வந்து அந்த பிரணவம் வந்து அவனை அரெஸ்ட் பண்ணுங்க. அவன் வந்து மகளிர் மாநில தலைவர், அவங்க பேர் என்ன, விஜயா ஏதோ சம்திங், அவங்க நேம் எனக்கு தெரியல, அவங்களோட பேரனா, ஓகேங்களா, விஜயா பேரன்பு அப்படின்றவங்களோட தாயன்பு, விஜயா தாயன்பு அப்படின்றவங்களோட பேரனாவும் அவங்க வந்து டிஎம்கேல மாநில மகளிர் அணி தலைவராக இருக்காங்களாம். ஸோ அந்த பையன் கேஸில் இன்னும் வரவே இல்லை. யார் காரணம்? இதுங்களால தான் பிரச்சனையே. அந்த பையனை அரெஸ்ட் பண்ணுங்கள். என் பையன் சாவுக்கு யார் காரணமோ அவங்களுக்கு நீதி வேணும். இன்னொரு விஷயம் என்னென்னா, நான் பட்ட வலி, துன்பம், வேதனை எந்த தாக்கி வேணாம். இந்த வயசுலேயே இவனுங்க தைரியமாக பண்ணிவிட்டு உங்களால் என்ன பண்ண முடியும் பார்த்துக்கலான்ற மாதிரியும் நம்ம கெத்தை காட்டணும் அப்படி சொல்லிட்டு இதுங்க பண்ணியிருக்குங்க. ஸோ நாங்கள் என்ன வேணால் பண்ணுவோம், அரசியல் பின்புலமும் பணமும் இருந்தால் நாங்கள் என்ன வேணால் பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்ற மாதிரி ஆகுது. என் குழந்தை பட்ட வலி.
All right, Sam, they're speaking to the mother of the poor student who lost his life. It now emerges this accident was actually a deliberate murder where 3 youngsters, one of them the grandson of a DMK councillor, using their Range Rover to ram a 2-wheeler, and the pillion rider Nitin Sai lost his life. Now all 3 have been arrested. With that, we'll slip into a short break. More news and updates coming up on the other side. Do stay with us.
This summer, PlusNet's great value broadband's got you covered. Sit back and relax with full fibre from just $24.99 a month. It's fast and reliable with speeds up to 900 megabits. Oh, and award-winning too. So you can really relax. That's a plus. Call or visit plus.net to switch to us today. Offer ends 6th of August.
Someone's happy. Get that lucky cow feeling with luckycowbingo.com/bingo. The site that's bursting with beautiful bingo games. 75 ball bingo. Even 90 ball bingo. Fill your bingo boots today. Get that lucky cow feeling at luckycowbingo.com/bingo or download the Lucky Cow Android app from the Play Store.
Don't let gaps in your travel insurance spoil your holiday. Go without the doubt. Insure and go. Call 0800 198 0198.
It feels good knowing that your future's in hand. Evlo can offer you a loan from £1,000 to £15,000. Get your conditional decision in minutes.
With Post Office Over 50s life cover, enjoy peace of mind knowing your family will receive a guaranteed payout when you're gone. UK resident 50 to 80, your guaranteed acceptance. No health checks and from just £1.15 a week. Plus free 24/7 GP access with the health and wellbeing benefit. Purchase and receive a £125 gift card for amazon.co.uk, Tesco or M&S. Call Post Office on 0800 171 2211.
If you have cancer, you may feel overwhelmed with worries.
Will I lose my hair?
How bad will my side effects be?
How do I cope with waiting?
What happens now? Whatever your cancer worries, Macmillan is here for you. Whether you're anxious about side effects, waiting for test results or appointments, or just need someone to listen, don't struggle alone. Whatever you need to ask, we're here for you 7 days a week. Call Macmillan for free now on 0808 258 8000.
I've been thinking, I want to plan my funeral so it feels more like a celebration. My parents always said I was born dancing. I just love it. Bhangra, disco, even line dancing. So when my time comes, I want to have music, dancing, the lot.
With over 150 years experience, you can count on Co-op Funeral Care to help you pre-plan the funeral you want. To find out more, visit Co-op Funeral Care or give us a call.
With II's low flat pension fees, you could retire with more.
Really?
Open an interactive investor personal pension today.
It's great to be helping out before my first grandchild arrives. And after having a few repairs myself, I need to make sure they'll all be protected. Which reminds me.
Welcome to British Seniors, the UK's #1 rated provider of over 50s life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote.
No problem. We're proud to offer our seniors lifetime guarantee. With 100% of claims having been paid, we guarantee your premiums will never go up and that you'll speak to one of our specialists in the UK. UK residents aged 50 to 80 are guaranteed to be accepted. Depending on your age, your loved ones can get a cash payout up to £10,000.
Wow, that money could help with funeral costs or as a gift for my grandkid. I'll do it.
Plus, when you sign up, you'll receive a £135 gift card and free 24/7 GP advice and health services.
He's going to be named after his granddad.
Be proud to protect your loved ones with British Seniors. To get a free life insurance quote today, call our UK team on 0800 470 4444 or visit britishseniors.co.uk.
When Tony passed, we wanted to celebrate him his way. All he ever spoke about was bite this, bite that. I'll never forget our first date. Huge grin on his face as he rode up on that big noisy thing. And that's exactly the way he'd want to be remembered.
At Co-op Funeral Care, we offer a choice of funerals including direct cremation. We're right by you when you need us. Search online, call us or visit your local funeral home.
अर्थात राष्ट्रीय स्वयं सेवक संघ के आदरणीय सरसंघ चालक माननीय श्री मोहन भागवत जी को गिरफ्तार करना चाहिए। ये निर्देश दिया गया था महबूब मुजावर जी को कि आप इस भगवा आतंकवाद के नैरेटिव को आगे बढ़ाइए और किसी भी कीमत पर मोहन भागवत जी की गिरफ्तारी होनी चाहिए। चार्जशीट में नाम नहीं, जांच में कहीं भी मोहन भागवत जी का कोई लेना देना नहीं, नाम नहीं आ रहा है। फिर भी जब गिरफ्तारी का हुक्म दिया गया तो महबूब मुजव्वर ने संविधान का हवाला देते हुए कहा कि मैं ये काम नहीं कर सकता क्योंकि ये संविधान सम्मत नहीं है, ये आईन अर्थात कानून सम्मत नहीं है, इसलिए मैं कानून से ऊपर उठ के ऐसा कोई काम नहीं करूंगा जिससे भारत के संविधान को चोट पहुंचे। और उन्होंने साफ साफ इनकार कर दिया कि मैं संघ के सरसंघ चालक जी को गिरफ्तार नहीं करूंगा क्योंकि उनका इससे कोई लेना देना नहीं। बदले में महबूब मुजव्वर जी के ऊपर जो अधिकारी थे, जो बड़े अधिकारी थे, उन्होंने कुछ इल्जाम लगाए। Some damning charges were pressed upon this ATS ऑफिसर मिस्टर महबूब मुजव्वर, जिसके कारण से उनकी पदोन्नति अर्थात प्रमोशन भी रुक गई। बाद में महबूब मुजव्वर कोर्ट में गए और कोर्ट ने उन्हें एक्विट किया, कोर्ट ने उन्हें छोड़ा। कोर्ट ने कहा कि महबूब मुजव्वर निर्दोष हैं और ये सारी चीजें जो उनके खिलाफ कही गई हैं वो गलत है। तो आप उस समय की कांग्रेस सरकार की विंडिक्टिव एटीट्यूड को देखिए। जबरन किस प्रकार से भारतीय जनता पार्टी और जो लोग हिंदू धर्म को मानते हैं और संघ के उच्चस्थ स्थान पर, उच्च पदवी पर जो लोग आसीन हैं, किस प्रकार से उनको अपमानित किया जाए, उनको गिरफ्तार किया जाए, उनसे बदला लिया जाए, इस प्रकार के विंडिक्टिव एटीट्यूड के साथ उस समय की कांग्रेस पार्टी काम कर रही थी और यह सब कुछ गांधी परिवार के कहने पर हो रहा था। आप बार बार मुझसे पूछ रहे होंगे कि मैं गांधी परिवार के कहने पर हो रहा था, ऐसा क्यों कह रहा हूं? इसका उत्तर माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने अपने ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के दौरान दिए हुए भाषण में बड़े स्पष्ट रूप से कहा था कि एक बहुत बड़ा नेता है जिसने अमेरिका में जाकर वहां के जो खुफिया तंत्र है वहां कहा था कि हमें सिम्मी से बड़ा खतरा हिंदू आतंकवाद से है आज हिंदुस्तान में। और आप भी जानते हैं वो बड़ा नेता कौन है जिसने यूएस के एम्बेसडर से कहा था कि हिंदू आतंकवाद आज हिंदुस्तान के लिए सबसे बड़ा खतरा है और सिम्मी भी उसके सामने बौनी है। तो स्वाभाविक रूप से गांधी परिवार का एक ये एजेंडा था कि वोट बैंक की राजनीति के लिए किसी भी प्रकार से सनातन को अपमानित किया जाए। और महबूब मुजव्वर बार बार अपने कथन में कहते हैं कि झूठे आरोप लगाकर मोहन भागवत जी को गिरफ्तार करने की बात कही गई थी, झूठे मनगढ़ंत कहानी बना करके। दूसरा विषय जो आज महत्वपूर्ण है वह है पृथ्वीराज चौहान जी के बारंबार आ रहे बयानों का। कोई कल एक बार एक्सीडेंटल बयान हो गया हो ऐसा नहीं है, आज भी बयान को दोहराया गया है। आज भी कहा गया है, दो बातें कही गई है। पहली बात कही गई है कि आतंकवाद का धर्म नहीं होता। ये जो आतंकवाद का धर्म नहीं होता ये तकिया कलाम है तुष्टीकरण का। ये आतंकवाद का धर्म नहीं होता वो तमाम कांग्रेसी नेता कहते हैं जब आतंकवादी हमला होता है ताकि वो अपने वोट बैंक को साध सके और तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति को आगे बढ़ा सके। और उसी सांस में इन द सेम ब्रेथ पृथ्वीराज चौहान कहते हैं आतंकवाद का धर्म तो नहीं होता है, कहना ही है तो आप कहो हिंदू आतंकी या सनातन आतंकी। वाह, आतंकवाद का धर्म नहीं होता मगर हिंदू आतंकी और सनातन आतंकी कहो, कहना ही है तो। आप याद करिए सुशील कुमार सिंधे जी ने भगवा आतंकवाद कहा था उनके एक कॉन्क्लेव में, कांग्रेस पार्टी के एक बैठक में पहली बार भगवा आतंकवाद कहा था। और जब विगत वर्ष उनसे पूछा गया कि आपने सही किया या गलत किया भगवा आतंकवाद के शब्द का प्रयोग करके, तो सुशील कुमार सिंधे मुस्कुराते हुए कह रहे थे मैंने अपने मन से नहीं किया, मुझे तो लगता है मैंने गलत किया, मगर जो आला कमान ने कहा, जो मुझे मेरी पार्टी ने कहा कि आप भगवा आतंकवाद सैफरन टेरर का प्रयोग करिए, मैंने वो प्रयोग किया। मतलब आला कमान कौन है? कांग्रेस पार्टी में आला कमान तो कोई और नहीं, एक ही आला कमान है, या यूं कहिए कमान में बहुत सारे आले हैं गांधी परिवार के। कमान एक, गांधी परिवार, आले अनेक। प्रियंका गांधी वाड्रा, राहुल गांधी, सोनिया गांधी, तो ये सारे गांधी परिवार के लोगों ने ही सुशील कुमार सिंधे के ऊपर ये प्रेशर बनाया था कि आप भगवा आतंकवाद शब्द का प्रयोग करिए। और आज जो पृथ्वीराज चौहान कह रहे हैं इसमें भी कोई दो मत नहीं है कि उनके आला कमान ने ही कहा होगा। अब एक वर्ष बाद वो जब किताब लिखेंगे तो उसमें आएगी ये बात कि मुझे भी कहा गया था कहने के लिए। और ये कांग्रेस पार्टी की पुरानी आदत है। याद करिए 18 फरवरी 2007 को जब समझौता एक्सप्रेस में ब्लास्ट हुआ था, लश्कर तोयबा के आतंकवादी जो एक प्रतिबंधित संगठन है उसके पूर्व मुखिया सफदर नागोरी की गिरफ्तारी हुई थी। केवल सफदर नगोरी की नहीं, पाकिस्तान के 2 आतंकवादी भी गिरफ्तार हुए थे। मगर इन सभी लोगों को कांग्रेस पार्टी ने 14 दिनों के अंदर, मात्र 14 दिनों के अंदर, और सफदर नगोरी एवं पाकिस्तान के वो 2 आतंकवादी मान गए थे कि हाँ हम ही हैं जिन्होंने बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट कराया था समझौता एक्सप्रेस में, उसके मानने के पश्चात, कन्फेशन के पश्चात भी मात्र 14 दिनों के अंदर छोड़ दिया गया। 2007 में हैदराबाद के मक्का।
All right, some breaking news coming in from Tamil Nadu, where the Madras High Court has directed the government not to use the name of the Chief Minister or his photograph in publicity material related to various government schemes. This issue was brought to the High Court by AIADMK MP CV Shanmugam, who sought a ban on the use of former Chief Minister M. Karunanidhi's image and name on various schemes. Let's go across to V. Raghav for more on this story. Veera, give us the details.
Well, the Madras High Court was responding to a petition that was moved by an AIADMK leader, primarily saying that the state government, while the Chief Minister's face can be used, and that's as per the Supreme Court's order, the state government cannot use the photograph of former Chief Minister M. Karunanidhi or former political leaders in government schemes. Now, it's an important order given the kind of
All right, so the Madras High Court bans using a Tamil Nadu leader's name in various schemes. So a setback really to the state government. Remember, they're going into an election soon, and now this issue brought to the High Court by the AIADMK, and now that it has been directed.
the robotic one.
The DMK can't use Karuna's pictures on schemes. Let's go back to V. Raghav. Veera, will this affect, the DMK campaign?
Well, it will be a dampener for the DMK. Remember, M. Karunanidhi, the former chief minister, remains the big face for the DMK. Several of the schemes were his ideas as well, named even after him in some cases. So the Madras High Court order, in a sense, sending out saying that, look, as far as you want to use the chief minister's face, that's fine, but you cannot use the photos of former chief ministers or political leaders in a government scheme. It's interesting because, remember, the culture legacy of Tamil Nadu is that several schemes have, connotations to political leaders from the past, whether it is C.N. Annadurai, the founder of the DMK, M.G. Ramachandran as far as the AIDMK is concerned, J. Jayalalitha as far as the AIDMK is concerned, and M. Karunanidhi for the DMK. So that's pretty much what the Madras High Court order is. It will mean a tweaking in terms of several publicity initiatives for the DMK and for the Tamil Nadu government specifically. This is, of course, the order restricting itself to Tamil Nadu government advertisements and Tamil Nadu government schemes. So not much for the DMK as far as its political campaign is concerned, but as far as the state government putting out publicity ads with faces of the former Chief Minister M. Karunanidhi, they can only use the face of M.K. Stalin at the moment on these ads.
All right, thanks so much, Veera, for joining us with those details. Well, news now coming in from Karnataka, where Prajwal Revanna has been held guilty. This is the rape case verdict. He's been held guilty, and the special court has delivered this verdict. That is the big breaking news coming in. Former Karnataka JDS MP Prajwal Revanna has now been convicted of rape. Remember, this was a whole Pandora's box really that opened when the first when the first allegation was made, and then several other allegations against Prajwal Revanna. Let's go across to Deepak for more. And Deepak, the quantum of punishment to be delivered tomorrow, take us through this entire very, very shocking case involving such a prominent political family of Karnataka.
Well, absolutely. Now, the Prajwal Revanna files, of course, had, really, it had shook the entire political scenario here in Karnataka. And this is one of the cases. This pertains to a house help, a 48-year-old woman who had alleged that, Prajwal Revanna had raped her on multiple occasions. This was during the 2021 period. Later, while an FIR was registered, there were also charges that this woman was abducted by family members of Prajwal. There was a lot that was happening as far as this case is concerned. Now, he's charged on multiple cases. This is one of the cases. The Special Court for Elected Representatives, of course, delivering its verdict and, pronouncing its verdict today and saying that Prajwal Revanna is indeed guilty. The quantum of punishment, of course, will be delivered tomorrow is what I'm picking up. Prajwal Revanna, while he was seated in court, got quite emotional as the judge was passing that verdict, even wiping a few tears there. He has remained in prison now, mind you, for about 14 months now. He's tried to get himself out on bail multiple occasions, but didn't really fare well for him. All rejections coming his way. And right now, this will be yet another major setback, not just for Prajwal Revanna, but also for the Revanna family, because his father continues to be in politics. He's an MLA. They've had a major clout, especially in the Hassan region. After this, there was a lot of bad reputation, really, that was built for especially the Revanna family in the JDS. Politically, this, of course, changes a lot of things now in Karnataka.
That's right. So Prajwal Revanna there convicted, and the quantum of punishment to be announced tomorrow. As you said, Deepak, this was a shocking case at the time where the household help made these such serious allegations, and it seemed from the various other people who came and spoke up after that it was something that many there in that area, in their constituency, family bastion, knew about these going-ons that were taking place, and a whole lot of information then came out about the family and the kind of practices. This pertains to this particular case you're telling us of the 48-year-old household help who accused him of rape.
Yes, and after this woman came out and filed that FIR, it did encourage multiple others to come and do the same, and finally we saw a lot of showdown as far as his arrest is concerned. He was not even in the country. There was a lot of speculation whether he'll come back, and then finally making his way back to India, where he was picked up straight from the airport, taken to the police station. Investigations continued, and he was eventually, of course, arrested. This is one of the cases where he is now, of course, now been held guilty. There are other cases as well, so there could be more trouble coming his way. But at this point in time, for the Revanna family, who've been maintaining that justice will prevail, the truth will emerge, and he will not be held guilty. This will be seen as a major setback. They have, of course, their own options legally. How will they really look at them is something that remains to be seen.
All right, so that is the big breaking news. Prajwal Revanna of the JDS, former JDS MP there, found guilty in this very, very sensational rape case, and the quantum of punishment to be announced tomorrow. Well, moving on to news now from Pune, where another instance of civic apathy. A 61-year-old senior citizen died near a busy Pune intersection. This after losing control of his two-wheeler while riding over a pothole. Now, you could see that video. He skids, and due to the skidding, he falls on the road, and then moments later, a speeding car hits him from behind, crushing him to death on the spot. Very, very tragic, and really this tragic death being caused by a pothole on that street. The entire incident captured on CCTV, and it has caused a lot of outrages. This is not the first instance of potholes causing accidents, but now an elderly person losing his life due to this. Well, news from West Bengal now, where a small-time Bangladeshi model and food vlogger Shanta Pal was arrested yesterday with fake documents, including Aadhaar cards and a ration card. She was apparently using these documents to pose as an Indian and travel to multiple cities, even taking loans is what we're told. So a very controversial case, especially given this time when there's so much focus on illegal immigrants who are living in India. Let's go across to Shreshi for more. Shreshi, give us more details about this entire case. How was she caught?
Well, what we have understood so far with the information that was provided by the police as well as the neighbor of this particular woman is that she had taken a rented flat in South Kolkata. She was staying there with her husband. Thereafter, a police complaint was filed at the Park Street police station under various sections. but not to do with her identity. But when the police came to arrest her and they conducted a search operation in the house, that's when they discovered Bangladeshi documents on her, which included her ID, her school certificates, and they were all under the Dhaka address. Thereafter, they found Indian documents of this same woman, which included Aadhaar card, voter ID card, and various other ID proofs. And thereafter, the police arrested her. The husband was also detained for questioning for a bit. The police are investigating into the case. What was the motive? How did she manage to procure these documents which belong to her? And various parts of West Bengal, not just Kolkata address, but also addresses from Bardhaman district here in Kolkata. So the police are trying to ascertain how she got her hands on these documents and who helped her get these documents. And the investigation carries on as the girl remains in police custody.
All right, Shreyashi, thanks so much for joining us with those details. All right, with that, time for us to slip into a short break. News and updates coming up on the other side with Divya. Stay with us.
Cricket updates brought to you by Remitly. Send money home safely with Remitly.
It feels good knowing that your future's in hand. Evlo can offer you a loan from £1,000 to £15,000, whether it's for home improvements or for some of life's big moments. Evlo looks beyond your credit score and always takes a case-by-case approach. Visit evlo.co.uk to get your conditional decision in minutes.
Dealing with my lot means making smart choices. And with our family growing, I want to protect the life we've built. That's why I'm calling Smart Insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote, please.
OK, you can choose a benefit amount up to £750,000 depending on your age.
Brilliant.
If you're a UK resident aged 18 to 64, you can apply with just a few health and lifestyle questions. For £250,000 of cover, the price starts at just £14.77 a month.
That's less than I thought, and could help my husband pay off the mortgage.
With our Smart Family Guarantee, you'll have peace of mind.
I'll go ahead.
You'll also receive a 100% advance in the event of terminal illness and 10% cashback on your first year's premiums. That's the Smart Cashback. Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Protect the life you've built the smart way. To get a free life insurance quote today, call our specialist UK team on 0800 977 5753 or visit smartinsurance.co.uk.
And here's the dining room. There's a lovely garden, plenty of room for a trampoline. It's beautiful.
Our relationship with money is formed from a young age.
Nice to meet you both. Well, we've seen a house we really like.
That's why we're here to help you take control and find a mortgage that suits you, whether you're buying, moving, or looking for a better rate. Barclays. Make money work for you.
Whatever you need to ask about cancer, Macmillan's free support line is just a call away.
Hello, Macmillan.
Whether it's money...
Am I going to lose my job?
Getting on with life.
Can I still go abroad? Get insurance?
Or just need someone to listen.
How do I tell them?
Our specialist advisors are here to help as often as you need them. Whatever you need to ask, cancer, money, life, call us now on 0808 134 1000.
Someone's happy. Get that lucky cow feeling with luckycowbingo.com/bingo. The site that's bursting with beautiful bingo games. 75 ball bingo. Even 90 ball bingo. Fill your bingo boots today. Get that lucky cow feeling at luckycowbingo.com/bingo or download the Lucky Cow Android app from the Play Store.
This summer, PlusNet's great value broadband's got you covered. Sit back and relax with full fibre from just $24.99 a month. It's fast and reliable with speeds up to 900 megabits. Oh, and award-winning too. So you can really, really relax. That's a plus. Call or visit plus.net to switch to us today. Offer ends 6th of August.
With Post Office Over 50s life cover, enjoy peace of mind knowing your family will receive a guaranteed payout when you're gone. UK resident 50 to 80, you're guaranteed acceptance. No health checks and from just £1.15 a week. Plus free 24/7 GP access with the health and wellbeing benefit. Purchase and receive a £125 gift card for amazon.co.uk, Tesco or M&S. Call Post Office on 0800 171 2211.
With BetterHelp, the biggest benefit of therapy is that it's about finding your authentic self. In a world where everyone is telling us who we should be and what we should want, it's the one place where you get to decide that for yourself. On BetterHelp, my role as a therapist is to meet clients where they are right now. Therapy is for anybody who wants to learn more about themselves or reach a goal or grow in what they already have.
The Election Commission has gone on to say that won't spare you wherever you are from the bottom or the top. That this is the claim that's being made by Rahul Gandhi. They're a big attack against the poll body, and this is the first draft of the Bihar electoral rolls that has been released before it gets published. On that very day, of course, Rahul Gandhi, they're hitting out at the Election Commission. In the Malegaon case, massive claim by the ATS official saying that he was put under pressure to arrest Mohan Bhagwat. Now, the Chief Minister of the state of Maharashtra has gone on to say this, there was a massive conspiracy by the Congress government. The family of the Dalit techie who was allegedly murdered by his girlfriend's brother has the family has accepted the mortal remains of This is the techie, the Dalit techie, after the Tamil Nadu police arrested the accused and his father, who happens to be a cop. Drunk on power is Andhra Pradesh's minister's cousin who has slapped a cop. The cop tried to prevent the entry of the man in a restricted area. The minister's cousin arrested over outrage, and the government in Andhra Pradesh saying there's zero tolerance when it comes to high-handedness. A very good afternoon. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Divya Vatva. We have a whole lot lined up for you, including India's counter to comments that were made by Donald Trump. Do remember that Donald Trump had gone on to say that India's economy is dead. Now, what we are hearing is there's no adverse impact as far as economy is concerned. GDP loss is likely to be less than 0.2%. Most exports to the United States not under the tariffs, and this is because of the exemptions, and of course exports likely to fall slightly. That is what India is saying. India is giving top priority to its own interest, to its national interest, which is why no compromise as far as it comes to agriculture, to dairy, and that is no compromise on religious sentiments and no compromise on milk, as well as India will protect its agriculture and also will not come under any sort of pressure. That is the reaction of India, and that is the befitting reply to Donald Trump, as this really comes about at the time when Donald Trump is now planning on going ahead with his tariff plans, and that will come into effect from the 7th of August. Aishwarya, my colleague, joining us. Aishwarya, take us through the reactions.
Well, certainly after Donald Trump calling it as India as a dead economy, there has been, of course, 25% tariff plus penalty which has been imposed on the country. The government and officials who are familiar to the subject have now stated to us that the tariff plus penalty will not impact much on the economy. In fact, the GDP is likely to lose just 0.2% at the end of the fiscal year. In fact, the officials also stated to us as far as what India is looking forward to, we have been categorically told that India will keep its interest paramount, specifically on the sectors like agriculture, sectors like dairy products. There will be no compromise on that particular front. In fact, most of the goods exported to the United States will not subject to the tariffs is also something that is going to be the future course of action. As far as the interest effects are concerned, there will be no adverse effect, and there is no chance of compromising on the dairy and MSMEs as well. The GMs as far as the genetically modified crops, no compromise on that would be allowed on the perspective of India. India is on the strong path of becoming fifth and 5.5 trillion economy, and India is the world's fastest growing economy, and India will go towards that path only. The BTA agreement is something that we can't tell when it will happen or whether it will happen, is something that the government officials have stated. There's still a scope of negotiations that many of the officials within the Commerce Ministry had told us. And after the BTA, there will be a review of tariffs after speaking to many industries. But most importantly, the officials had been stating that there will be no compromise on the smaller sectors, the MSMEs, who is a larger part who contributes to the Indian economy, specifically to agriculture, dairy products as well. And certainly, remember in the past we have seen, while having a bilateral agreements with different countries, dairy is something that, dairy and agriculture, these two sectors are something that India had always looked upon, and there will be no compromise on that particular sectors.
Right, Aishwarya, thank you so much for getting us all the very latest. And like we mentioned, that it's Donald Trump's administration that's announced that the reciprocal tariffs will come into effect, not from today, that was the deadline, but from the 7th of August. Now, this isn't a U-turn of sorts, this isn't an extension of sorts, but this is procedural. That is what the White House has gone on to say. This is a major trade storm that is brewing with the United States. With Donald Trump there rolling out sweeping tariffs on dozens of countries. Economists say that American companies and consumers are the ones who are going to be paying that price. Inflation is ticking up. The imported goods are getting more expensive, and India meanwhile stands its ground, refusing to bow to pressure over Russian oil and trade demands. This, as US President Donald Trump has hit out at New Delhi. It is Marco Rubio, the US Secretary of State, who has gone on to say that India purchasing oil from Russia is really helping sustain Moscow's war against Ukraine, and that is the problem here. That is the sticking point. Let's listen in to what was really said here.
So as you know, the trade deals are coming down. That's not really your purview. You have enough on your plate. But one thing the president said last night on Truth Social, he goes, Russia continues to be the top oil supplier to India. And during their first 6 months, they're making up 35% of the overall supplies. He, quote, India will therefore be paying a tariff of 25% plus a penalty for the above starting on August 1st. He's upset, maybe you're upset, that India continues to get, instead of a small portion, a great portion of their discounted oil from Russia, which is fueling their war machine. How disappointed are you in a so-called ally?
Look, global trade, India is an ally. It's a strategic partner. Like anything in foreign policy, you're not going to align 100% of the time on everything. India has huge energy needs, and that includes the ability to buy oil and coal and gas and things that it needs to power its economy, like every country does. And it buys it from Russia because Russian oil is sanctioned and cheap, and meaning they have to, in many cases, are selling it under the global price because of their sanctions.
Yep.
And that, unfortunately, that is helping to sustain the Russian war effort. So it is most certainly a point of irritation in our relationship with India. Not the only point of irritation. We also have many other points of cooperation with them. But I think what you're seeing the president express is the very clear frustration that with so many other oil vendors available, India continues to buy so much from Russia, which in essence is helping to fund the war effort. Right. And allowing this war to continue in Ukraine.
Now, after US President has gone ahead and said that there will be 25% reciprocal tariffs on all goods imported from India, which will come into effect from the 7th, 6 days from now. And it is the Congress party that is slamming Prime Minister Modi, accusing him of failing to safeguard India's strategic and economic interests. In fact, the Congress party is saying that the government cannot be a mute spectator. India can't stay silent. What is worrisome is India, after 4 months of intense negotiations with the United States, has not been able to thrash out even an interim bilateral trade agreement. So this is something, do remember that Donald Trump had been very hopeful of being able to strike that deal. In fact, said that, India is a friend. But now, because of India's relationship with Russia, that seems to be having an impact when it comes to tariffs and the reciprocal tariffs that India is facing to the tune of 25%. Let's listen in to the reactions coming about. First, Piyush Goyal, what he had to say, and Karti Chidambaram reacting to that as well.
सरकार हालिया घटनाक्रम से होने वाले प्रभावों का परीक्षण कर रही है। वाणिज्य एवं उद्योग मंत्रालय निर्यातकों और उद्योग सहित सभी हितधारकों से संवाद कर इस विषय पर उनके आकलन की जानकारी ले रहा है। सरकार हमारे किसानों, श्रमिकों, एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, उद्यमी, निर्यातकों, सूक्ष्म, लघु और मध्यम उद्योगों और उद्योग जगत के सभी हितधारकों के कल्याण की रक्षा और संवर्धन को सर्वोच्च महत्व देती है। हम अपने राष्ट्रीय हितों को सुरक्षित करने और आगे बढ़ाने के लिए सभी आवश्यक कदम उठाएंगे।
See, India and America are large economies which need each other. We also have people-to-people ties. Flippant comments made by the United States President are not going to derail this relationship in the long run. Yes, we need to be calm and have sober negotiations, and we will come to some sort of understanding. He did the same thing with Zelensky. He has said the same thing about Macron. He has said the same thing about the United Kingdom. He has he even made some very nasty comment about the mayor of London right now. But eventually things settle down. Trump is an unconventional politician. He's not a career politician. He came in through his showmanship and through his flamboyance. And it's only there for a limited period of time. You know, he's serving his last term. He can't be president beyond 2029. But the relationship between India and America will endure beyond that too. And I'm sure there are sober heads in America too who will have a calm negotiation with India and come to some sort of understanding which both countries will accept.
Aishwarya joining us in order to get us more on this. Aishwarya, take us through the reactions coming about as far as the Congress party is concerned. We just did hear that Donald Trump is known to make those U-turns, and that this is something that the government should really be focusing on.
Well, many in the Congress are not towing the line of leader position. In fact, from the India bloc as well, there had been dissent in the voices that we have witnessed since morning as far as what steps had been taken by the United States President and what announcement he has made. Many had stated that it is United States President who is an unconventional president and a politician. He will not remain after 2029, but a friendship of India and United States which lasts for so long. It is Piyush Goyal, Commerce Minister himself, who stated that on every front, on every level, there are negotiations which are going on. The ministry is being speaking to different sector, industrialists as well, and they are going into the depth as to what steps has to be taken as far as making India paramount as far as their interest is concerned, as far as our country, smaller industries and MSMEs are concerned, the agriculture sector is concerned. The Congress leadership has been saying that it is a complete failure on three major fronts. It is defense policy, it is economic policy and foreign policy. Rahul Gandhi stated that on these three fronts, the government had completely collapsed and they have come under the pressure of the United States President. And now the deal that would be signed, that would be under his pressure, because it is repeated times that United States President had gone on to say on record that it was him that India and Pakistan had also come to an understanding, and there was a ceasefire, and he was the one who mediated between that. And it is the government which on record has not been stating even once that it was United States Donald Trump who is a liar. But on the other side, it is the government which is on record stating that they are working on every scale possible to have benefit to the Indian and of course Indian economy for having fastest growing economy. India's interest is paramount, and there will be no compromise on any other fronts.
That's right. Thank you so much, Aishwarya, for getting us the very latest. Now, let's just also talk about trouble that's brewing for Donald Trump, and this is because of the controversial tariffs also in his own backyard in the United States. It's a federal appeals court. That will also, be taking up this case. Judges in Washington, D.C. have really been questioning whether Trump overstepped his authority by using this emergency powers in order to impose sweeping reciprocal tariffs on U.S. trading partners. Businesses challenging that move, saying it's an extreme overreach unlike anything seen in the last 200 years. Critics argue that the law that Trump has used, the 1977 Emergency Powers Act, was never meant to apply to tariffs. The administration claims that the tariffs are necessary to protect national security and U.S. manufacturing. Trump, defending the move online, called the case, while America's big one, and claimed that U.S. is now stronger because of his trade stance, and the court's final decision could in fact reshape presidential trade powers as well. My colleague Vishal with the details.
There are several challenges right now as we speak, but the first one is the Federal Appeals Court that is hearing the case. So 5 small businesses and 12 democratic-led states have moved the court. So it started with a smaller court in a lower court. The argument was heard in a lower court, but that did not materialize. It was sent to a higher court, which is hearing the case now. The case pertains to this use of this 1977 IEEPA law. So this is the law that has been used by the Trump administration to levy, to put these tariffs into effect, and petitioners have argued that that is not correct, that should be outlawed, because the lower court had agreed with the petitioners, as I mentioned earlier, that the functioning of the tariffs is not right, and the Federal Appeals Court is reviewing the case as we speak. And in the same vein, the federal judges in the same case, they have said that the aforementioned IEEPA law doesn't mention tariffs. So that is what they're arguing, that the word tariff has not been mentioned even once in that whole law that has been used to implement these tariffs. So the tariffs have been allowed to stay while the case is being appealed. So as I mentioned earlier, the lower court had stayed the tariffs, but that decision in turn was stayed by this higher court. And many of Trump's trade deals and tariffs hikes could be at risk because of this judgment, although the judgment is not supposed to come within the next week or so. But nonetheless, when it comes, there could be trouble for Trump.
So much, Vishal, for getting us the very latest. And this is, of course, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi, who has backed US President Donald Trump's remarks. This is in regard to the tariffs. He's gone on to say that India's economy is dead, comparing India's economy with Russia, and that what they do with their economy is not his problem. Now, this really is a time when, of course, Rahul Gandhi has now found, in fact, Shashi Tharoor contradicting those remarks that have been made by Rahul Gandhi when he is siding with Donald Trump as far as those remarks are concerned. Shashi Tharoor has gone on to reject Donald Trump's remarks. Listen in to what the MP had to say.
इस विषय के बारे में मैं जो कुछ कहना था कल कह दिया। भारत की इकोनॉमी डेड हो चुकी है सर? नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं यार, आपको पता है।
And my colleague Aishwarya, in fact, getting us the very latest on this. Aishwarya, of course, a war of words, and again, Shashi Tharoor speaking up against Rahul Gandhi.
Well, Rahul Gandhi backed Donald Trump's remark and stated that Indian economy is dead. What United States President had earlier stated. Many of the Congress leaders, just not Shashi Tharoor, from Karti Chidambaram, Rajiv Shukla, RJD's Manoj Jha, everyone had stated something else as far as India's economy is concerned. They've stated that, it is a collective approach that the government needs to take. There is still a scope of negotiation. The negotiating team will certainly speak to the United States, and it is just not about United States President, but, he, being an unconventional politician, he is there till 2029. Further to that, India-America relationships or their friendship remains long-lasting. And we have to work towards that. Politicians or the political parties, governments, comes and go. It is the relationship and friendship that lasts for long. And this all depends on the on such trade agreements, on such bilateral understanding between the two countries. And there is a lot of scope to that. Of course, LOP Rahul Gandhi had been amplifying on what had been stated by Donald Trump, but their own leaders not supporting Dr. Shashi Tharoor's latest remark, stating that this is not true, this is not the case, that what Rahul Gandhi had stated, that Indian economy is now dead.
Right. Thank you so much, Aishwarya, for getting us the very latest. Stay with us for our next story as well. Let's just get you the latest when it comes to Turkey supporting Pakistan during Operation Sindoor. And now Turkey has been hit hard for that support. Indian tourists have stopped visiting Turkey. In fact, there's a huge decline as far as Indian tourists to Turkey are concerned. We're talking about June, the month which usually sees the highest flow of Indian tourists to Turkey. It is the peak of the holiday season. And this June, we've seen a decline to the tune of 37%. This follows India's stance when it comes to the support that Turkey had in fact showed towards Pakistan. So this really follows Indians avoiding the country since its open support for Pakistan came to the fore during Operation Sindoor. Let's get you the latest, and this is from Bihar. The Election Commission there all set to publish the draft electoral rolls, and that's going to be coming up later this afternoon, minutes from now at about 3 o'clock for Bihar, following the completion of that month-long special intensive revision, the SIR exercise ahead of the polls coming up in the state of Bihar in October or November. Now, the EC has released the SIR data to political parties, and that will be published at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Meanwhile, there is a huge ruckus in the parliament over the Bihar SIR exercise. Leaders of several opposition parties, including Rahul Gandhi, have written to the Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, urging him to schedule a special discussion on the ongoing voter list revision in the state without any further delay. The process of filing claims and objections will also start from today and continue to the 1st of September. Do remember there's a month's time that has been given by the Election Commission, saying for making those claims and for making those objections in order to add to that list or even to remove from that list. Voters with complaints of wrongful deletion of names can approach the authorities concerned seeking a remedy. Now, of course, the opposition is saying that this is an exercise that requires much more time. There isn't enough time in this. Rahul Gandhi there, in fact, saying that you will not be spared. That is the attack, the fresh attack as far as the Election Commission is concerned, attacking the poll body there. Listen in to Rahul Gandhi.
इलेक्शन कमीशन में जो भी ये काम कर रहे हैं, राइट फ्रॉम द टॉप टू द बॉटम, आप एक बात याद रखिए, आपको हम छोड़ेंगे नहीं. कुछ भी हो जाए, हम छोड़ेंगे नहीं आपको, क्योंकि आप हिंदुस्तान के खिलाफ काम कर रहे हो. ये ट्रीजन है और कम, इससे कम नहीं है. तो आप याद रखिए, आप कहीं भी हो, रिटायर्ड हो, कुछ भी हो, ठीक है, हम आपको ढूंढ के निकालेंगे. थैंक यू.
Right. Well, let's just also